Hit record. You want to mute people?
Yep. All right. We are live. Hi, you guys. It is Tuesday, August 27th. I apologize. I'm totally in bed right now. Mike is in the office doing work, and I'm not going to lie. I drove 7 hours with 2 children today, and can barely handle myself tonight. So you can get me in bed. So it's totally cool. But I'm going to let Kelsey take it over because I was in a car for 7 hours with 2 kids. She's going to take the reins on this one.
Yes, I am. Okay, awesome. So we want to kick off tonight with, as we always do, with our celebrations. And so I know we have a lot of celebrations. Holy cow, with what's been going on, and it's super exciting. So I know that we have iPhone. Maybe you're brand new tonight. I don't know if you're brand new tonight, but welcome. And then Lacey is on here tonight for the first time, and we're super excited about that. I know that Stacy's new rep, Stacy, because that's not going to be confusing, you guys, is off to an awesome start. She has 3 calls lined up, Stace. I think I'm looking for confirmation. 2. Okay, so I thought she had 3 calls lined up for Wednesday, but yeah, anyway, lots of momentum going and starting people off strong, which is just setting everybody up for success. And that's awesome. Beth is not on the call tonight. She usually watches the recording, but I wanted to say congratulations to her because she got an order this week, and she just does this business. She's one of the ones that does it as a hobby. And so it's just really exciting when you see even the raving fan, reps that don't take this on full time, that still continue to share and get orders. And I just think that's awesome. So anyway, that is my half, but I also know that we have a lot of celebrations down Rachel's line, and where's Rachel? There she is. Rachel, did you want to shout out to anybody, or did we do that last week? Did we already cover them?
I think you guys did that last week.
Okay. I'm like, I can't remember. My days are like all going together. So cool. Well, you guys are we're rocking it. Oh, and I wanted to give you an update. So on our journey to 100 healthy families, this month we're at 53 out of 100, right? So we're over halfway to our goal. Isn't that awesome? I'm so excited about that. 53. And to be honest, that number is probably higher. It's just, those are only the ones I know about. So congratulations, you guys, you're killing it. And we still have like a week left. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and kick off on tonight's training. I'm going to screen share here for a minute. Let's see. I can't think and talk and do at the same time. So, sorry, I make you guys all nauseous. So this is a training that, beginning, here we go. Maybe not. There we go. All right. So this is a training that Kristen and I were re-listening to. It's something that we heard probably 3 years ago from Stacy Joy, who is a national marketing director, probably incredible, huge club teams. I don't really know. But she is a medical professional who is an author, and she tours, and she a book tour. Sorry, that's what I meant by she tours. But she travels and does a lot of our healthy living lectures and things like that. She's done them for the company. If you look in Healthy Living Revolution, the tools behind that with some of the old webinars, you'll see some of hers about the healthy gut is one of her big ones. But she also has grown an incredible team while doing that. And so this is a training that she did, and Kristen brought it to my attention this week again. And I just thought, okay, where we are in our business right now, where all of us are, right? Because Kristen and I, and I think Stacy, I made, but go up to the challenge of restarting our businesses at the beginning of, was it July or August, whenever we talked to everybody about those fast tracks and how we were going to restart right there with you. And so this is something that applies to all of us, and I just thought it would be super beneficial. So events in our business, we're going to talk about that and how to get people to events, how to get them to show up to events. So does this sound familiar? You invite you have an event coming up. I know this sounds familiar for me and Kristen because we've talked about this. You have an event coming up and you realize that it's now like a week out or 3 days out from the event and you still haven't sat down to send out those messages to invite people, and you're like, it's really last ditch effort trying to get people to show up. And so you kind of just like shoot out this message and you're hoping to get positive responses. And then you're kind of feeling a little like unsettled about your event. You don't know who's showing up. You may get no shows. I've been at all spectrums of things, you guys. I have had events where only 6 people RSVP'd and then we had 12 people show up. And I have also been where 9 people RSVP'd and 0 people showed up. They didn't even cancel on me. They just didn't show up. So that is part of an area I need to improve in. I've always said this, that inviting to events is something that I want to improve on in this business. So this is your business, and what are you trying to do in your business? Well, in this business, you want to attract raving fan customers. I love how she used the word attract, because that's exactly what we want to do. We don't want to like beg, borrow, and steal raving fan customers. We want to attract raving fan customers. We want to be a product of the product, and we want to show our really fun community and lifestyle, and that is going to attract people into our network. Okay. Once they're on Juice Plus, we know they're going to have an awesome experience. Our job is to make sure that they love it. And we do that by a really awesome customer care, which we've talked about in the past. Then we want to teach others. So we have our brand new team members on. We want to teach them how to do the same things we're doing, how to attract the raving fan customers, how to share on social media, how to get people asking questions, and us asking them questions so we can really see how Juice Plus can be of service to them. And then we want to promote events. We want to, and so these really are kind of the only 3 things you do in this business is wash, rinse, and repeat. So what are events that we invite to though? We have connection calls when you're just trying to get your prospect on the phone with your friend, your sponsor, who's been doing this longer than you. Okay, so we have our connection calls. We have our team calls, things like this. When you have brand new people, you want to make sure we get them involved in team calls. There are webinars and Zoom calls, lots of education in our company. And so there's constantly something to invite to. And it's really cool in our company because it is one team, one mission. And so we do get to benefit from the other events that other teams are putting on. And it's really neat to do that. Inspiring healthy living events, which are more live events. You can do those live or on Facebook or Zoom, however you want to do that. But wellness presentations, those are typically in person, salad bar parties or salad in a jar parties or meal prep parties, whatever it is that you're doing. Facebook events, many regionals or regional trainings that happen. That's typically a Friday night speaker with a Saturday training about the business. And so that's those are really great events to invite to, especially if you're traveling to another town to do it. Who do you know in that town? Okay. And then we have boot camp trainings, which are like the Juice Plus live events that went on this summer. We had 4 or 5 of them this summer across the country. And then we also have the Seattle Summit that happens every year up in, Seattle area from Mitra. And then conference is our big one, right? That's our big rock. We want to get people to conference because that is where they're going to see the magic, see the energy, see what the company is all about. And each of these events does a little bit different exposure, right, for your prospect. So we want to make sure that we are getting the right people, the right audience in front of whatever the event is. So she breaks this down into 10 simple steps, and we're just going to fly through them. So 1, you have to decide that you are all in. Okay. I will tell you, do not try to invite to every single event, because then you're going to feel like you don't have real conversations with people anymore, and that all you are doing is inviting. So pick which events you are going to promote, which ones you can be all in for, the ones you can show up to, the ones you can share your story on, the ones that the ones whose information makes you think of other people instantly. Those are the events that you want to decide you are all in for. Okay. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you need to have a list. We talk about our memory jogger list for reaching out to people. But what I loved about this list is really to pre-qualify people. So when so that way you have their permission to invite to the events. To invite them to the events. So you can do this. I'm a huge fan of pen and paper, you guys, but this is typically what it looks like. And I can tell you, it's not like the most effective way to keep track of people. But Teamzy has been a game changer, because in Teamzy, when, and if you're brand new, you don't know what Teamzy is yet, we'll walk you through that. We have a great training that will show you how to get started with Teamzy. But with Teamzy, you can add tags on people. You can categorize them, basically. So I reached out to a couple people, found out there are some new people in Albuquerque that I didn't know had moved there. And so whenever I connected with them, I put a new tag on their name for Albuquerque. I'd like to tag people by where they're located, because I know that there's a regional event coming up in less than a month in Albuquerque. And so you better believe that when I get on Teamzy one day, I'm going to just click on that tab. It's going to bring up everyone I know in Albuquerque, and that makes the messaging and the inviting so much easier. But however you organize it, whether it's in your phone, whether it's on paper and pen, just make sure you know where people are. And you could categorize them. If you only know people in one area, you can categorize them by what their interest is or what their background is. So if you know you have a lot of fitness professionals, you could tag them with that. If you know you have a lot of moms, you can tag them with that. If you have, athletes, tag them with that, whatever it is. Okay. But some of the verbiage she uses to qualify people, to basically ask the permission if she can keep them on her invite list, right? She just says, I know you haven't been able to commit to our events in the past, but do I have your permission to keep you on my invite list when there is a really great presentation, when a really great presentation is coming to town? I'm pretty sure there's a typo in there. Don't worry about that. So they don't know what a really great presentation is. You guys, all of our events are really great presentations. So this is just asking their permission to continue to invite, right? We tend to joke around about continuing to follow up with people until they tell you to, until they give you a no or an F off. But really, sincerely, we want to have people's permission, so that way we're not nagging them, and that way we know that they are genuinely interested, that maybe just the last invite didn't work out, or the last 5, no big deal. All right, so the third step, know the value of your speaker and determine your target audience. So like I said, however you categorize people, know what the topic is, right? What your lecture is on, and then also know who your speaker is. So if I have Dr. David Phillips coming, I'm going to reach out with that information. If I don't know who Dr. David Phillips is, I'm going to ask probably my sponsor. I'm going to ask Sideline people. I'm going to look on our Healthy Living Revolutions to see if he's done any other talks. I'm going to YouTube him. I'm going to figure out who this guy is and who I'm putting my people in front of, because you want to trust their experience, right? And so if I do that, once I do my research, I'm going to see that he is an Ironman athlete and a champion, I don't know, and he's a medical professional. And, so then that gives me an idea of what angle his talk is going to be coming from, right? So I'm probably not going to invite every single person I know, but I'm going to invite the people that I know will be interested in his angle and his take on the presentation. So that's always really, really important to know, no matter who your speaker is. Then begin 3 to 4 weeks early. Now, guys, let's be real. This is not our forte. Like, we're all about last minute invites, right? But if you look at your track record on last minute invites to social media events, spot on. You cannot go wrong. It will be great. Last minute invites to live events where you're having to drive to a location and bring people there, not the best approach. Okay, so know that this 3 to 4 weeks early doesn't necessarily mean for every event, but it does mean for in-person events. And you can set, even if you don't have all the details on the event. So like tonight, right? I'm going to look at my calendar. I'm going to pick out when we're doing this taco event, and then I'm going to just shoot out a message about it. Do I have any of the details worked out? No, I don't. But wake up and wing it, right? So I'm going to send out a message to a bunch of people that I think will be interested in coming to a taco night and people who I know have expressed interest in what we're doing. So they can learn more, but it'll also be just a fun night. But I'm going to just tell them when to save the date. Like, hey, keep this night open. We're going to have a really cool event, and I think you're going to love it. I don't have to tell them all the details of it yet. Then you're going to start collecting off of that save the date thing. You're going to start collecting your yes responses. Okay. So as they come in, again, write them down, put them on a list. So that way you don't forget to check in with these people. So, you know, again, if I would you in network marketing, that is our goal. Okay. So if I sent you an invitation to an amazing talk featuring Dr. David Phillips, an Ironman triathlete and medical professional, would you check your availability and see if you could come with me? See if you can hang out with us that night, or whatever it is, whatever your verbiage is that makes it more comfortable. Then 1 week prior to the event, you're going to check in with your guests that you invited. Okay. The ones that gave you the yeses, you're going to totally check in with them. If they haven't answered your invite yet, totally reach out to them again. That's okay, because they may not have seen it, or they may have just forgotten. Right. But every single person that said yes, you should be sending them a voice message, a phone call, a text message, an email, whatever it is. You need to touch base with them and just tell them how excited you are about seeing them again, and you know, going to that event, whatever it is. Tell them how excited you are about that. Then a couple days before, you're going to confirm again, because life happens and things get busy. And so you want to send another message. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at our taco night, whatever. I can't wait to see you and catch up. They're going to be like, yeah, me too. So awesome. Right. Or they're going to say, oh my gosh, I completely forgot this came up. That's okay. That's totally normal too. Okay. Just because it is our priority, right? This business is our priority, and this product is something we are passionate about, doesn't mean it's that high on everybody's priority list. So give them grace. Don't get mad. It's not personal. Don't get your feelings hurt if they bail on you, and if they don't show up. Okay. That just means that they may be sort of interested, but like sitting at home in their pajamas on the couch, hanging out with their husband, sounded better that day, because the kids were throwing up or throwing fits all day long. One of them's teething, and they know they're going to have a rough night ahead of them, right? Like, give them grace. You cannot take anything in this business personal. All right. Step 8. It's showtime. It's the day of. You want to make sure that you are driving with your friends, having some social time. Like she says, drive with your cool friends, like basically like the ones you really want to hang out with. Make sure you go with them and make it more of a party than just like a really rigid, like show up at 6:30, the speaker starts at 7. Like don't make it super like awkward. Just be really comfortable, have fun, maybe get some food and some drinks before or after. That way they know that it really is about them and catching up with them, and it's not so much about the sales pitch. Okay. And she gave this really awesome suggestion. I put a star by it because it's something that I have never done. And something I definitely intend to do from now on, is that we hand out gift packets for every guest that comes. And her gift packet is literally a manila envelope that has samples and information packets in it. So if you have, what is happening here? If you have the shake samples, any bars on hand, if you have the gummy samples, right? Don't put capsules in there. That's pointless. That's not going to help with anything. But if you have those things, and if you only have 1 or 2 of those things, that's fine too. You know, put that in with maybe a brochure, maybe a printout of something, or at least your card that has your web, something on it. Okay. And you put it in with maybe a little thanks for coming note. She said that goes a really long way. And she hands that out to everyone who's unfamiliar with Juice Plus. So anyone who's kind of just showing up because it sounded like fun and they really haven't had that conversation or that exposure with you yet, if they're a customer, you don't need to do that. You can send them, or you can give them a thank you card for coming, but you don't need to give them a whole bunch of samples, unless maybe they haven't tried the shakes, and then you can give them that. But I thought that was a really cool personal touch to just, it's basically their goodie bag, right? To say thanks for coming to the party. So I love that idea. And then step 9 was following up within 24 to 48 hours. This is so, so important. Like, I can't even stress how important this part is. You want to follow up with the people who attended, the people who said they wanted to attend, but they couldn't, and also the people who were no-shows. And you guys, it is inevitable. If you invite, it is a numbers thing when you invite people, right? So if you invite 20 people, chances are you'll actually only get 1 or 2 butts in the seats, because some people will just say no, they can't that night. Some people will have something that comes up at the last minute. Somebody's kid's going to be sick and barfing, and they just won't come. That's 100% normal. Okay. But making sure that you follow up with those people anyway, and ask them some questions. You know, what did you like most about the presentation? clearly not the people that didn't show up. You don't want to ask them that. But the people that did come, ask them, what did they like most about the presentation? Does Juice Plus make sense to you? Is there anything else you need to know before getting started? Or are you open to receiving a short video for more information, right? If they're not sure, if they're like, well, I don't know, like, I'm just not sure yet. Just say, hey, you know what? I've got this quick video. You want to take a peek at that? Because that's just one more exposure. And so that is just one more thing that we can share. And it doesn't take any time to do that at all. But 24 to 48 hours is like a must. If it gets past that point, they've forgotten about it. Life has moved on. Your excitement level has definitely dropped already from the event. So make sure that 24 to 48 hours. And if you can meet with them, I know meeting with them in person can be really time consuming, but if they are really excited about getting started, just get with them. Just get with them on the phone, in person, whatever you need to do. But make sure it's within that 24 to 48 hours. And then number 10, the final step is really just to do what I'm doing right now and to teach our teams how to invite to events, because events are the backbone in this business. And like I said, it can be, it can be any of these events. So it can even be a one-on-one coffee date, right? Like it can be anything, but the events are where they're going to feel the energy from what we do. They're going to feel the excitement. They're going to hear the stories from somebody other than you, which is going to validate everything you have said. And it's going to validate you as the professional. Okay. So when you come to events, when you are hosting events, when you are just attending and inviting, make sure you show up on time. Make sure you are professional. Make sure you're there to network, right? So put on the face and just do your thing, right? Network with people, introduce your guests to people, show them our community and show them the energy that is here, because you know that feeling from conference. When we get there, it is the biggest group of shiny, healthy people you have ever met in your life. And you're like, what is going on? Like, where did these people, if you guys remember your very first conference event, if you've been to conference and you remember that feeling of like, there's a lot of people smiling. Like, why is everyone so happy here? And it's so contagious. And we want them to feel that. It's going to be on a smaller scale at some of these events, but sometimes it's better because it's more personal. But these are the backbone to our business. And we cannot share what we do and our passion effectively without having events. So that is all I had. I'm going to stop share and I'm going to open, let's go ahead and quit recording actually. And then we will go ahead and just open it up, question and answer.